Welcome to Season 18 of the 5-Minute Biographies podcast from 5minutebiographies.com, where each week we tell you interesting things about interesting people in about 5 minutes. If you enjoy the show and would like to support us, why not consider buying us a coffee? Head on over to 5minutebiographies.com/coffee to see how. This is Episode 4, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, one of the most influential and celebrated composers in Western music history, was born on the 27th of January, 1756 in Salzburg, which was then part of the Holy Roman Empire, present-day Austria. He was the youngest of 7 children born to Leopold Mozart and Anna Maria Pertl, though only Wolfgang and his sister, Maria Anna, nicknamed Nannel, survived infancy. His father, Leopold, was a composer and musician in his own right, serving as a violinist and composer in the court of the Archbishop of Salzburg. Leopold quickly recognized Wolfgang's prodigious talent and took it upon himself to nurture his son's abilities from an early age. Mozart's childhood was nothing short of extraordinary. By the age of 3, he was already playing the clavier, a type of early keyboard, and by 5, he had composed his first pieces of music. Leopold, eager to showcase his son's genius, took young Wolfgang and Nannel on extensive tours across Europe, performing in the courts of royalty and aristocracy. The children were hailed as musical prodigies, and Wolfgang's reputation as a wunderkind spread far and wide. By the age of 6, he had already played before Empress Maria Theresa in Vienna, and his performances at the courts of Europe gained him widespread recognition. Mozart's education was largely overseen by his father, and it focused heavily on music, although he also received instruction in languages, mathematics, and other subjects deemed necessary for a cultured upbringing. Leopold was a strict and demanding teacher, pushing Wolfgang to master complex musical compositions from an early age. While Leopold's influence was instrumental in shaping his son's early career, it also put great pressure on Mozart to succeed. As a child, Mozart absorbed an immense variety of musical styles from across Europe. During his travels to cities such as London, Paris, and Munich, he was exposed to the works of composers such as Johann Christian Bach and Georg Friedrich Händel. This eclectic musical education greatly influenced Mozart's development as a composer, and by the time he was a teenager, he had already written symphonies, sonatas, operas, and concertos that displayed a remarkable maturity and mastery of form. In 1769, at the age of 13, Mozart was appointed concertmaster at the court of Salzburg, a position that allowed him to further hone his skills as a composer and performer. However, despite the security and prestige of his position, Mozart became increasingly frustrated with the limited opportunities available to him in Salzburg, particularly under the rule of Archbishop Colloredo, who was not inclined to support Mozart's ambitions for travel and artistic freedom. At the age of 21, Mozart left Salzburg in search of greater opportunities. His travels took him to various cities, including Paris, Munich, and Mannheim. But it was in Vienna where he eventually settled in 1781 after being dismissed from his Salzburg post. Vienna was a bustling cultural hub, and Mozart quickly established himself as one of the most sought-after composers in the city. His operas, symphonies, and chamber works were performed in the city's grand concert halls, and he found success both as a composer and a performer. In 1782, Mozart married Constanze Weber, a woman from a family of musicians. Their marriage, while loving, faced its share of challenges, particularly financial difficulties. The couple had 6 children, though only 2, Carl Thomas and Franz Xaver, survived infancy. Mozart's life in Vienna was often marked by financial instability, despite his popularity and prolific output. He struggled to maintain a steady income, and his lavish lifestyle, combined with the costs of raising a family, often left him in debt. During his time in Vienna, Mozart produced some of his most iconic works. His operas, The Marriage of Figaro, Don Giovanni, and Così fan tutti, all published between 1786 and 1790, revolutionized the genre, combining beautiful, complex music with deeply emotional and often humorous librettos. His symphonies, particularly the last three, number 39, number 40, and number 41, Jupiter, are considered masterpieces of orchestration and structure. Mozart's piano concertos, written for his own performances, remain central to the piano repertoire today, while his chamber works, such as his string quartets and quintets, are still admired for their clarity and emotional depth. Despite his artistic success, Mozart's personal life was fraught with difficulties. Financial troubles plagued him throughout his life, as he was often forced to rely on loans from friends and patrons. His health also began to decline in the early 1790s, with periods of illness that left him weakened. Nonetheless, Mozart continued to compose at an astonishing pace, producing some of his greatest works during the final years of his life, including the Clarinet Concerto and the unfinished Requiem, a choral masterpiece that was left incomplete at the time of his death. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart died on the 5th of December 1791 at the tragically young age of 35 in his home in Vienna, Austria. The exact cause of his death remains uncertain, with theories ranging from rheumatic fever to kidney disease or even poisoning, though there is no definitive evidence to support any single theory. Mozart was buried in a common grave at the St. Mark's Cemetery in Vienna, a practice that was typical for the time, and there was no grand funeral or public ceremony to mark the passing of one of history's greatest musical geniuses. Mozart's death left his wife Constanze in a precarious financial situation, but she worked tirelessly to ensure that his legacy would endure. She organized memorial concerts and helped publish his works posthumously, securing his place in the pantheon of great composers. Today, Mozart's influence on Western classical music is incalculable. His work spans every genre of his time, from opera and symphonies to chamber music and sacred compositions. His ability to blend technical brilliance with deep emotional expression has made his music timeless, and his compositions continue to be performed and admired worldwide. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's life, though short, was filled with unparalleled creativity and artistic achievement. His music, characterized by its elegance, complexity, and humanity, has left an indelible mark on the world of classical music, ensuring that his legacy will be cherished for centuries to come. I hope you enjoyed that episode of 5-Minute Biographies from 5minutebiographies.com. If you did, why not subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes, and leave us a review while you're there. Also, why not consider our other 5-minute podcasts? 5-Minute History, 5-Minute Murder, 5-Minute Mysteries, and 5-Minute Warfare. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next week.